Hi. We are on the floor today because we are doing the very daunting task of going through every single book on my physical TBR. If you see behind me, I have my very aesthetic, very minimal, very cool girl, very clean girl, very cute girl book cart. I got this book cart off of Amazon 3-4 years ago. It is very unstable. I don't know if you can see this, but it like leans to one side, so it's leaning towards the back, and she's on her last wheel. I have to hand it to her. She's been put through a lot. Now, a few months ago, I went through a huge book purge and got rid of over hundreds of books. I'm not even kidding you. I got rid of so many books that I had to have my brother come and help me carry all of it to Half Price Books because I couldn't do it on my own. At Half Price Books, after selling as much as I could, I made over $300. Do you know how many books you have to sell at Half Price Books to make over $300? A lot. I had come to a point in my life where I realized that I had more books on my shelves that I hadn't read than books that I had read. And that's why I decided to get rid of most of my physical TBR. I am now left with what I have. We're gonna count how many books are left, and I do want to make a disclaimer that I believe most of you will still think that the amount of books left on my physical TBR is a lot, and I'm here to admit that it is. It is still an excessive amount of books. I completely understand that. I have a really bad habit with spending. I've been on this debt-free journey. This has nothing to do with books, but I've been trying to cut back on spending because I am making it a focus to pay off all of my debts. And upon doing a deep dive on my expenses, I realized that I am the most expensive thing that I pay for. And where does that money go? Books. Yeah, that money is going to books. And so, all of that to say, I did a purge. I'm on a debt-free journey. These are all the books left on my physical TBR. And the reason why I'm making this video is because I want to hold myself accountable, okay? That these are the only books that I'm going to have on my physical TBR for the rest of the year. I don't plan on buying any new books. I plan on utilizing the library anytime I have the need to go and shop around for a new book. I'm not saying that I'm never gonna step into a bookstore and not buy books. That's not what I'm saying, because I think that would be impossible for me to say. But my best friend and I came up with a criteria, and this criteria is a set of rules that if we are book shopping and we want to buy a book, the book that we want to buy has to fall under 3 out of those 5 rules that we have set for ourselves in order to justify us buying that book. So if it doesn't fall under those 5 things, then we don't buy it. And I've been sticking really hard to those rules because I need to stop. I need to stop. I need to stop spending money on books that I have not read yet. Okay, the books on my physical TBR I have here are it. This is it. This is it. This is it. Another rule that I'm setting for myself is that if I do want to buy a book that doesn't fall into those rules, I have to get rid of a book on my physical TBR. So 1 out, 1 in. That's the deal. Like I said, this is probably still going to be considered a lot left on a physical TBR, and I understand that, and that's fine. You know, you do you, I'm gonna do me. But I do have all 3 tiers of this book cart, and then I have this one bookshelf back here, and then yeah, I still have more books, and then 5 books up there, and the last set of books in the guest room closet, and then that's it for my physical TBR. I know, that's still a lot. Okay, I get it. I hear you. But I have no plans on adding any books to my physical TBR. Okay, wait, little caveat to that is that I do have some pre-orders coming in that I made those orders months and months and months ago. So I'm not gonna count that, okay? And I'm not gonna cancel those orders either. Just saying. Okay, long-winded intro ramble. Let's just get into the books. I have these 3 tiers here in this physical TBR cart, and I've very loosely categorized them into different sections. The first tier I have here are books that I want to get to as soon as possible. These are the books that once I'm done reading all the books that I'm in the middle of, I'm going to reach for my next read on this tier. This second tier has all of the books that I want to read during the fall and winter season, most of them at least. The last tier has all of the Christmas and holiday themed books, as well as some books that I want to save for next year. All right, let's start here at the top. I'm just going to quickly grab them and show you what the book is. I'm not going to give you a summary on every single book. Otherwise, I would be here for 75 hours. And while I'm going through all of them, if you see any books that you didn't like or don't think that I would like and should take off my physical TBR, please let me know, because the more that I can decrease the number of books that I have, the better for me. Okay, first book I'm going to go over is a book that came in just today. It was a pre-order, and that is Saving the Rain by Elliot Rose. If you can see the leaves on the cover, this is giving fall. You're going to hear me say that I want to read these books in fall and that each book is giving fall, because a lot of these books that I have are fall coded in my eyes. So you will be sick and tired of me saying that, but I'm going to say that about every single book on this physical TBR, just to let you know. This is part of her Taboo Cowboy romance series, and this, I believe, is this is the 4th book, and it just came out. So look at the leaves, giving fall. Can't wait to read that. Then I have Lost Souls Meet Under a Full Moon by Mizuki Tsujimura. This is by the author who wrote Lonely Castle in the Mirror. Loved that book, and I can't wait to read this one. I have There by Tommy Orange. Been wanting to read this for forever. Heard nothing but amazing things about this author and this book. 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. A classic. Can't wait to read this. I know it's going to be good. 6 Morning Kisses by Diana Elliott Graham. This author, everyone calls her the queen of rom-com, because she does bring the romantic trauma in every single one of her books. I reread the first book in order to prep myself for this book, but I reread it months ago, and because that emotionally damaged me again, I did not have the heart to go into this right away. So I have been saving this for the fall, when I know I'm going to be in a very broody, emotionally devastating state, you know? Oh my God. Okay, Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforty. This is the last book in the Windy City series, one of my favorite sports romance series of all time. I've been putting this off because this is the last book, and I'm not ready to say goodbye to the series or these characters. So I've been procrastinating on getting to this, but I definitely do want to read this by the end of the year. The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This is turning into a Netflix movie coming soon. So I want to read this before the movie comes out. But also Fall and Winter are, to me, the season for mystery thriller books, and this falls right under that category. Oh my God. Okay, The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door by H.G. Perry. I am so excited about this. I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book. This is, to me, peak fall season, because there's fae and dark academia. And that's all I need for fall. Right, next we have The Siren of Sussex by Mimi Matthews. I've been in my historical romance era this year. I don't know what it is, but I have been absolutely in love with the genre. And this is just another addition to that genre that I can't wait to read. And I've also heard really great things about this series. Next we have The Murder of Roger Ackroyd by Agatha Christie. I've never read this book by Agatha Christie, and I heard the plot twist is insane, so I'm very excited to read it. And again, mystery, thriller, giving fall. These 4 books are the last 4 books in the Veronica Speedwell series, which is a historical Regency era mystery romance series that I have been absolutely obsessed with. I started the first book, A Curious Beginning, in April or May of this year, and I have been binging all of the books since. I'm in the middle of the 5th book right now, and then these are the rest of the books in the series. It's still an ongoing series, right? The series hasn't even been completed yet, but thank God that I got into this series when there are already 9 books, because if I had to wait in between each book, I don't know what I would do. I would lose my mind. I have the next 4 books. I'm so excited. I love the series so much. If you haven't read the series, you need to go read it. Then I have Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair. I've never read anything by this author, but I heard their writing is really great. This is a book that I pre-ordered, signed, and never read anything by this author. Yeah. That just goes to show you how bad my book buying addiction was. Because what are you talking about? A pre-ordered signed copy of a book from an author that I've never read from before? Girl, I don't know who I thought I was, okay? This is also giving fall because this is a romantasy about vampires. Now, I've had a very on and off relationship with romantasy just because I feel like I've been reading the same type of romantasy book over and over and over again. I'm hoping that this will turn things around for me for the genre, because I need something that is new, something fresh, something original, and I'm hoping this author will give that to me. Okay, and then I have Meet Your Baker by Ellie Alexander. I have read another cozy mystery series by this author before, really enjoyed it. This is their first cozy mystery series that they came out with, and at this point I think there's almost 20 books in the series, which is great for me because I can binge all of them. I do hate the fact that they are in the mass market paperback size though. Why are all cozy mysteries in mass market paperback size? Really hate that, but excited to dive into this and have a cozy mystery series to binge for fall. Okay, then I have The Hobbit and all 3 books in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I've never read these. I did watch the movies, but I wanted to read the original series. I was hoping to do that in the fall, which is why it's on the first tier, but I'm also starting to store my archives, so I don't know if I'll get to this, but I'm definitely going to try my best. Then we're gonna rapid fire these ones. I have The Accidental Crush by Mia Heinzelman. And this is a cute little fun romance. And then I have The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels by India Holton. This is another historical romance book. I have The Heart's Invisible Furies by John Boyne. And then the final book on this tier, I don't actually think I can show you the cover because it's a bit spicy and I don't want to get in trouble. But it is a book called Dear Benjamin, and I don't even know who it's by. This is a light novel because I believe this originated as a webtoon, but it is a BL Omegaverse, very spicy romance. So that's that. All right, I'm gonna put these books back on the tier and I'm gonna count them as I do. So 24 books on this first tier. All right, now we're gonna go over the second tier, which, as I said, has a lot of the books that I wanna read for the fall season. But honestly, all of these could be classified as books I want to read for fall. The first book that I have is Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. And then we'll go here. Then I have You Should Be So Lucky by Cat Sebastian. I've never read anything by this author, but I know they write a lot of really fun, cute, historical queer romances, and I'm really excited because I've heard nothing but amazing things about their books, and I found this signed copy at the Ripped Bodice in LA, and yeah, I'm really excited to get into this. Then I have A Love Most Fatal by Kath Richards. This is sort of a mafia rom-com. Heard really fun things about this one too. Oof, God. I have Dark Notes by Pam Godwin. This is a dark romance. I have Start a War by Elle Thorpe. I believe this is a dark reverse harem that takes place in prison. So it's giving fall. I have Baby and the Late Night Howlers by Catherine Moon. This is an Omegaverse book as well. Entranced by the Basilisks by Lillian Lark. This is a paranormal monster smut book. Monster smut is giving fall. Sorry to say. That's when all the monsters come out during spooky season. All right, then I have Inked in Lies and Good Gone Bad by Gianna Darling. These two are part of the Fallen Men series, which is an dark MC series by her. I believe this is also still an ongoing series, and I only ever read Welcome to the Dark Side, which I loved, but I just never continued on with the series, but I definitely do want to read the rest of them. I have Unhinged by Jane Henry, and I think this is a dark mafia romance book. Honestly, some of these books I've had on my physical TBR for so long that I kind of don't remember what they're about, but I was saving them for specific seasons, and fall for me is giving dark mafia. We'll see if I get to it this year. Ooh, I have Saints of Storm and Sorrow by Gabriela Buba. This is a fantasy book inspired by Filipino mythology, and the author is actually half Filipina, so that's really great. I believe the second book, this is only a duology, and I think the second book came out in July. So now that it's completed, I definitely want to get to this year. Oh my God, The Phantom of the Opera, my favorite musical, one of my favorite movies. Never read the book. This fall might just be the time for me to get to this classic. All right, next 3 books-ish books. I have Melt for Us and Scream for Us, which I think is a Halloween and then a Christmas novella, dark romance, as you can see. These two are prequel novellas for this book, which is Bloodshed, all by Molly Doyle. Couldn't tell you what these books are about. Then I have Bourbon and Secrets by Victoria Wilder. This is book 2 in a romantic suspense series. I am obsessed with these covers. Look at that man with the glasses. Okay. Romantic suspense. Giving what? Fall. Exactly. Ooh, and then we get into more of the fall themed books that I have. So I have Thrown in the Dark by A.K. Caggiano, and Carrie Reeds is definitely the one who influenced me to get this because she said that this was a very fun and unique romantasy. Like if you're looking for something original and different than the other romantasies out there, she recommended this one. And so I'm very excited to get to this. God, the stack in front of me is insane. And then I have Fall I Want by Lyra Parrish. And this I actually pre-ordered. It came in the mail a couple weeks ago. I have The Marriage Hex by Sarah Blue. This is a witchy paranormal romance. Okay, then I have The Fallback Plan by Melanie Jacobson. And honestly, this might be one that I might get rid of. I don't know, because again, in the height of my book buying addiction, I will buy anything that is holiday themed, fall themed, Halloween themed, Christmas themed, Thanksgiving themed. Doesn't matter. If it's a holiday themed book, I'm gonna buy it. I'm a sucker for the holidays, okay? I remember I was in Half Price Books and I saw this, obviously fall, but I looked at the Goodreads and it didn't have the greatest reviews. And yet I still thought, you know what? It's holiday themed. I'm gonna get it anyway. So I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but we're gonna keep it for the holidays to see if I do, but this might be one that I get rid of. Then I have a pack, oh, that falls. I have A Pack for Autumn by Amelia Emerson. I believe this is like a cozy Omegaverse for fall. I love this cover. It's so cute. And then I have, oh my God, you guys. I have My Feral Romance by Tisonia Odette. And this is a historical romance with fae in it. This is actually book 2. I definitely want to get book 1. And obviously I need to read book 1 before I read book 2. But look at this. This is the dust jacket. Look at the naked hardcover of this. Oh my God. Can you believe? Stunning. So yeah, I had to get it. Okay, I didn't have to, but like, come on. But I'm really excited about this one. It's giving fall. It's literally me in a book. It's historical romance and there's fae in it. Like, come on. That just screams fall to me. And then I have The Reformatory by Tananarive Due. This is a psychological horror and I've heard nothing but incredible things about this author and this book. I have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil by our queen, V.E. Schwab. I went to a book event where she talked about this book and I'm so excited to read this because there are 3 witches and it's giving fall. Yes, sis. Yes, it is. And it's sapphic too. Come on. Come on. The last book in this tier is All the Sinners Bleed by S.A. Cosby. I read Razorblade Tears by this author earlier this year. Fantastic book. Phenomenal. I couldn't wait to read more of their backlist. I also think this is getting adapted into a movie, I want to say. All right, so let's count. There's a lot of books in this tier, so let me count all of them. Okay, so on that second tier, there are 25 books. The last tier down here, let me see if I can show you guys. The last tier down here, I'll show you. These are a lot of holiday books. And also, like I said, books that I want to read next year. I have Snowed Under by Juliana Smith. Couldn't tell you what this is about. All I know is that it is Christmas themed. Ooh, I have Love You a Lotka by Amanda Elliott. I believe this is a book about Hanukkah. I want to read more books about holidays other than just Christmas. So I have Love You a Lotka. I have Candy Canes and Peppermint Kisses by Jenica Snow. I believe this is a collection of holiday romance novellas all in one. I was attracted to the cover. The cover's cute. Then I have Highland Hearts Holiday Bookshop by Trisha O'Malley. I mean, holiday bookshop. Come on. I have, oof, this is a pretty spicy cover. So I'm not going to show you the cover because, again, I don't want to get in trouble. But I have A Man for Mrs. Claus by Rebecca Weatherspoon. I love Rebecca. Rebecca is such an underrated author. Then I have Dear Monster Claus by Meave Black. Obviously, this is a monster Christmas story. Really excited for this one. She wants love for Christmas and he wants her. Period. Then I have Winter Love by Han Suyin. I believe this is a sapphic literary fiction book, which I'm really excited about. And obviously, Winter Love. When else am I going to read it but winter? I have Santa Baby by Jennifer Crusie. So this has a novella by Jennifer Crusie and then 2 other novellas by Lori Foster and Carly Phillips. Again, this mass market paperback size. I hate it, but It's Jennifer Cruzy, love her, and anything Christmas, that's me, that's me. And then I have, okay, these two are not holiday books, but I have Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott and also Writing Tools by Roy Peter Clark. And I have these two because I wanted to educate myself further on writing, the writing process, building better writing tools and writing skills for myself, not just to be an author, but to be a more eloquent writer and building my skills to write better just for myself, you know? And also I feel like learning more about the tools and techniques in writing will help me analyze and critique books a bit better, because I'll be looking at it from a more technical standpoint rather than just a creative standpoint, I guess. I have these books just because I wanted to learn more about writing. And then I have, okay, do not judge me. This is a judge-free zone here. But I got this book years ago and I still haven't read it, but I still do want to read it eventually. And that is The Den of Vipers by K.A. Knight. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that. I have Under the Tuscan Sun by Frances Mays. I watched the movie for the first time this year, and I have to say, probably one of my favorite movies of all time now. It really put me in the mood to travel to Italy again and made me want to buy a villa in Tuscany, but I never read the book, so I want to read the source material, and I'm sure I will love it just as much as the movie. I have two standalone Brandon Sanderson books here. I have Elantris and I also have Warbreaker. Both of those I do want to get to because, as I said, I'm making my way through the Cosmere, and eventually I want to get to those. Don't know when, but sometime soon. I have The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas. When am I going to get to this? Who's to say, babe? Who's to say? Then I have My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. I read The Days of Abandonment by Elena Ferrante. Obsessed with that book. And I can't wait to get to the Neapolitan novels by them. I have Battle Royale by Koshun Takami. Iconic. And I know this is the source material for a lot of movies and shows and other books that have taken the ideas from this book. So can't wait to read the source material for that. Ooh, I have East of Eden by John Steinbeck. And now I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, do I want to read this like this week? Then I have The Nightingale by Kristen Hannah. Listen, okay. This woman has written maybe 50 books at this point. I've never read anything by this author, but I know this is getting adapted into a movie, and I've never been able to find a video of someone talking about this book without crying, and I want to know what that emotional devastation is like, so I want to read that. And then I have The Goldfinch by the Queen, Donna Tartt. The Secret History, one of my favorite books of all time. And I've heard really good things about The Goldfinch too, so I hope it lives up to the hype. Okay, the last three books on this tier. Yeah, the original Hunger Games trilogy. Why is this on this tier, you ask? Am I rereading it? No, I've never read The Hunger Games. I know that's almost blasphemous to say as a reader, but I wasn't reading dystopian when I was in high school, which I believe is when this came out. I was into more of the teenage angst and drama and romance, so I never read The Hunger Games. Eventually, when I do get to it, it will be my first time as an adult. Yeah, this came out in 2008. I was a sophomore in high school. I was into teenage drama and angst, babe. I was reading Sarah Dessen. I was reading Ellen Hopkins. I was not reading dystopian at that time, okay? I was reading Twilight. Yes, I was. But I was not reading dystopian. All right. 23 books on that tier. Okay, so here we are on my bottom shelf behind my physical TBR cart, and this is the one shelf left on my bookshelves that has books that I haven't read yet. Thank God for that, because before my huge purge, I had 2 full bookshelves of books that I hadn't read yet. These are all of these series that are complete that I have, and the fact that at the height of my book buying addiction, I decided to buy every book in a series that I wanted to read without ever having read a single page. Yeah, I needed an intervention for sure. I have these 3 books by Mark Lawrence. This is a trilogy that completed this year. The last book, which is this pink one right here, I believe it came out just a few months ago. So I have that trilogy, The Book That Wouldn't Burn, The Book That Broke the World, The Book That Held Her Heart by Mark Lawrence, and then I have the Empire of the Wolf trilogy by Richard Swan, The Justice of Kings, The Tyranny of Faith, The Trials of Empire. I have the first book in the Red Rising series, and then I have all 3 books in the Bloodsworn trilogy by John Gwynne, The Shadow of the Gods, The Hunger of the Gods, and The Fury of the Gods. And then, of course, I have all 4 books in the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne, Malice, Valor, Ruin, and Wrath. And then right above it, I have these 2 books that are in the middle of 2 completely different series by Melissa K. Rorick. And the fact that I have book 2 and then book 4 in 2 separate series that I have not even read yet. I have no words for myself. I truly don't have any words for myself, but I have those 2 books. And then I have the Rhaeria Revelations by Michael J. Sullivan, Theft of Swords, Rise of Empire, Heir of Novron. These 3 right here in the middle by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. I did not know that The Shadow of the Wind was a series. I read this years ago. One of my favorite books of all time. I thought it was a standalone. I had no idea it was a series, but I guess it is. So I have the rest of the books in that series. Love these covers, by the way. I found them at Half Price Books, and I'm like actually obsessed with these covers. And then I have the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. I actually read the 5th season like 2 years ago, but I never completed the rest of the series. So I do plan on rereading the 5th season and then continuing on with the next 2 books. I have the I have the Farseer trilogy by Robin Hobb. I have DNF'd Assassin's Apprentice twice. I like her writing, but I think following Fitz as the main character is boring. I don't know what it is, guys, but when I do decide to read it again, I plan on reading it physically while listening to the audiobook to really immerse myself in the world, and hopefully that will help me actually finish it for once and then continue with the rest of the series, because I do want to continue on and read all of the other series that come after this, because I know Robin Hobb is such a staple in the fantasy genre, and I want to continue on with the rest of the world that she's built. So eventually I will finally finish the Farseer trilogy. All right, those are all the books that are in this bookshelf. And so now we will count. We have 28 books on this shelf. Up here, this is sort of my Sanderson shelf. I did have Warbreaker and Elantris here, but I decided to move it to my physical TBR cart because they're standalones and I don't really need to keep them all together. I can just keep it there so I know it's top of mind for me to read. But I have the 5 books in the Stormlight Archives so far that I have not read yet, so I will count these 5 as part of my unread physical TBR. This is the guest room closet. The fact that I have books in multiple places in this house is absurd. These are all books that are part of series that aren't complete yet. These aren't on my bookshelves because I don't like to read series that aren't complete, but I still like to buy series that aren't complete. I don't know. We'll go through it. So we have To Shape a Dragon's Breath, Sorcery and Small Magics, these 2 books in a historical romance series by Jacqueline Benson. I'm actually really excited to read this. I'm obviously, like all of these series, I'm going to wait till it's complete for me to read it. The Raven Scholar. This is going to be a trilogy, and I'm telling you right now, the second that trilogy is complete, I will be diving into this. A Song of Legends Lost. This is also the first book in a new trilogy. Can't wait to get to that. The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I wish that he had kept this as a standalone, the way that it was originally going to be, but he turned it into a series, so I'm kind of sad about that because I really don't want to read it if it has a cliffhanger and then I'm like left waiting for the next book in the series. This Miss Bardugo, what is going on with this? Huh? What's happening? Where's the 3rd book? Because I really want to read this, but I don't want to be left hanging. And if you read Hellbent, you've been left hanging for years. Like, when is the 3rd book coming out? I can't even. And then I have The Will of the Many, which only came out last year. I think the next book is coming out this year. I have The Hurricane Wars, Monsoon Rising. I have the first 3 books in this series. I forget what it's called. I think it's the Star Eater series. I can't wait to get to this. I know that's a really fantastic sci-fi series. This, I believe, is a novella in between books. I don't even know what this is in between, but it's a novella in the series. And then I have The Tainted Cup, A Drop of Corruption, which I believe came out this year. This is part of the Bound and the Broken series, I believe is what it's called, by Ryan Cahill. And then The Black Tongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman. There is a prequel to this. I don't know when the rest of the series is coming though. These are all the books that are in this closet. I don't plan on okay, I don't plan on buying any more first books in a series that's not complete yet. This is already too much to have for incomplete series. The fact that I even have this many is embarrassing. Yeah, so if we count these books, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 26 books in this closet. Okay, so adding all of these up, my total comes to 131 books on my physical TBR. Again, I know that is going to be a lot and excessive for some of you, and I completely agree. And the fact that I had almost double that at one point, yeah. Yeah, but I am proud that I got rid of the amount of books that I did and that I cut my physical TBR down to only 131 books. To me, that is a win. That is the smallest my physical TBR has been in years, okay? So for me, that's a win. I know that's still a lot, but for me, it's a win. Now I feel like I can breathe a bit easier, and there's not as much pressure to read all of these books as fast as I possibly can because I don't have as many anymore. I also feel good about the books that I have left. They're books that I'm excited about, books that I can't wait to get to. I wish all of you to have those same feelings for your physical TBR. Again, this video is to hold future me accountable, okay? Girl, look at me, look at me, look at me. Stop buying books, stick with it. 131 books, that is a doable amount for you to get through. You do not need to add any more books, okay? You do not need to add any more books, girl. Those are all the books on my physical TBR. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.